Welcome to Science TV Crunch News. You are with me, Elvis Odhiambo, with my sign language interpreter doing the voicing, Tobias Omondi. And on to our first news item. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, alongside other Kenya Kwanza leaders, have defended President William Ruto's track record, highlighting the key achievements in food security and national safety. Speaking during a visit to Trans Nzoia County on Friday noon, Kindiki emphasized that the government's efforts are already bearing fruit for citizens across the country. The Deputy President pointed out that initiatives launched under President William Ruto's leadership aim to uplift ordinary Kenyans, especially in the rural areas. He dismissed criticism of the regime, insisting that the president remains committed to transforming lives and strengthening public institutions.
Hakuna njia ya mkato. Ule anataka kuwa MCA, MP, governor, rais, ngojea uchaguzi 2027. Hiyo uchaguzi ndio unaamua nani anakuwa kiongozi. Unapiga kura, IBC na hesabu inatangaza. Mwenye hajafurahi anaenda mahakamani. I want to encourage farmers in Trans Nzoia to consider planting coffee. Kwa sababu serikali imekazana katika miaka mitatu iliyopita. Kahawa tulikuta inanunuliwa shilingi 50 kwa kilo. Sasa inauzwa kilo moja shilingi 140, 150.
Usijaribu kugonganisha Wakenya kwa misingi ya kikabila ili uweze kujibinafsisha wewe mwenyewe. Na sasa William Samoei Ruto ameshikana na Raila Amolo Odinga, ameunganisha Wakenya na tunapata maendeleo kwa usawa Kenya mzima. Si namna hiyo?
Ule anahubiri ukabila hapa Cherangani. Nyinyi watu ya Cherangani nataka niwaulize. Mnataka mtu ya chuki ama ya kasi? Kenya ni ya watu wote na lazima tuishi na amani.
Moving on to other news, a section of leaders have resorted to tribal rhetoric in defense of President William Ruto's administration. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetang'ula called on his community to stand up in support of one of their own, claiming that the president has been recently disrespected. Echoing the same sentiment, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago issued veiled threats targeting specific communities, accusing them of being overly critical of the current government.
Nyinyi ndugu zetu wa Trans Nzoia, hasa jamii ya Kalenjin, nyinyi ndio mnamzaa William Ruto. Na mumeona vile anachezewa. The first and last line of defense ya rais wetu. Mtu akija hapa na maneno ambaye haeleweki, mwambie wewe ngojea wakati wako ukifika utasema maneno yako.
We the Kalenjin nation delayed the colonization of this country by 15 years. Wazungu wangekuwa hii dunia by 1905. Sisi ndio tulifanya wakakosa kufika mpaka 20s. Wewe unatuambia tulipigania uhuru. If you continue, and I want to caution the Mount Kenya nation. Mukiendelea namna hiyo, we are going to do an audit of what has happened in this country for the last 10 years.
Moving on. The Anglican Church of Kenya, that's ACK, has called for an end to the ongoing protests across the country, warning that the demonstrations are being infiltrated by criminals who are using them to cause violence and destruction. The church expressed concern over the growing unrest, which has led to loss of lives and damage of property. While acknowledging that peaceful protests are a constitutional right, the bishops noted that the recent demonstrations have taken a dangerous turn. They said the violence witnessed in various parts of the country undermines the original intent of the protests and puts the citizens at risk.
If we all run to the theater as if we are looking for an opportunity to appear on the stage, then we make a mistake. I think at this point we need to counsel the government that yes, mistakes have been made, but corrected immediately.
Moving on. Boniface Kariuki Mwangi, a 22-year-old mask vendor who was fatally shot along Nairobi Avenue, was on Friday laid to rest at his family home in Kangema, Murang'a County. His death adds the rising toll of lives that are lost during the recent protests. Leaders from the opposition, including Kalonzo Musyoka and Justus Muturi, attended the burial ceremony and strongly condemned the ongoing police brutality. They called for the impeachment of President William Ruto, accusing his administration of being responsible for the deaths of protesting youths.
The last 1 week of you staying in the hospital was the toughest for all of us. We fasted and prayed for miracles to happen, and we kept the faith.
You are taken from us too soon, in a way no one should ever have to go.
Ni amri ambayo ni kinyume cha sheria. Kama kweli tungekuwa na bunge, William Ruto anatakiwa kuwa nyumbani.
Kumbe bottom up ilikuwa ni kutoa vijana chini awapeleke mbinguni kupitia risasi ya polisi wake. Si umeelewa bottom up sasa?
Na nyinyi wananchi mkae mkijua kwamba bunge limesha tapelewa. Hatuna bunge. Msimame mkijua Mungu kivyenu, kwa hiyo mchukue kura na msimame imara, na mkumbuke vile askofu ametuambia hapa Jubili. Askofu alisema rubbish in, rubbish out.
With the IBC commission now in place, we want to see urgent recruitment of voters. We want to see a new voter register.
Huyu kijana yeye ni mojawapo wa wale ambao serikali ilikuwa suppose inalinda. Hawa vijana kama hawa, they do not deserve to die. They deserve to be protected by the government of Kenya.
Moving on to other news. Businessman and popular TikToker Kakan Mayo was on Friday released from Muthaiga police station after spending 2 days in custody. He was granted police bail of 10,000 Kenya shillings following his arrest over allegations of making inflammatory remarks and alarming publications targeting police officers and their families. Mayo was initially expected to be arraigned at the Milimani Law Courts, but was instead held at the station for further questioning. His legal team has dismissed the charges as baseless, arguing that the accusations do not meet the legal threshold required for prosecution. They have termed the arrest as an infringement of freedom of expression and have vowed to challenge any legal action that is to be taken against him.
They thought maybe I'm acting with a group or something, but I told them those are my personal views, and I'm speaking out of sincere cry of many Kenyans. No one paid me to do that. I'm not on any salary from any organization to speak against injustice.
Khan was arrested for simply expressing himself. Khan is a model citizen, an upright man. He's a man of God, and he was arrested for doing the Lord's work.
He's being accused of publishing alarming publication. First of all, that is very laughable, as there is no offense known in law as alarming publication. Freedom, liberty, and human rights are not a favor granted by the state. They are fundamental rights that everybody gets because they are human.
we need national conversation. However long it will take, let it take long, but let every Kenyan know his role, the role of police, and the role of administration. Everybody will be okay.
And finally, the rise of cancer-related illnesses in Kenya has become an alarming national health concern, with the disease now ranking among the top 2 deadliest in the country. According to the Cancer Institute of Kenya, over 44,000 new cancer cases are diagnosed annually, with approximately 75 lives lost every day due to the disease. Speaking during a media breakfast ahead of the upcoming National Cancer Summit, the Institute's chairperson, Dr. Timothy Olweny, expressed grave concern over the escalating burden of cancer. He highlighted inadequate government funding and the high cost of cancer drugs as major contributors to the worsening situation. The National Cancer Summit is scheduled to take place in Nairobi on the 27th to 30th of July. The summit aims to bring together stakeholders in healthcare to explore sustainable solutions, boost awareness, and advocate for increased resource allocation in the fight against cancer.
When it comes to quality is one of the things that the National Cancer Institute of Kenya is mandated to be able to oversee, because we have to try and standardize the care. But regardless of where somebody accesses care within our healthcare system, our recommendations are the same. And then we talked about financial risk protection, because we have got a lot of funding that comes in for healthcare. Out-of-pocket expenditure is still is still high, and that needs to be managed, and that's one of the initiatives we have towards UHC.
Our Ministry of Health, through the National Cancer Institute of Kenya and other partners, is continually rolling out HPV vaccination amongst our girls through our schools and in our communities. This is one example on how prevention is going to prevent cancer.
Care is one of the things that most of the time is left out. Psychosocial, I've talked about mental health, rehabilitative. Nobody wants to waste a lot of money on treatment and then lose somebody who was upstanding to depression or suicide. That's something that can be managed.
And that wraps up our news. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You've been with me, Elvis Odhiambo, with my sign language interpreter, Tobias Omondi. And don't forget to join us for the Sports City live show coming up at 2 p.m. Thank you and stay tuned. Have a good afternoon.